What's going on, everybody? It's Ryan here. And today, I want to talk to you about art. I want to talk to you about canvas art. I want to talk to you about some stuff I got in the background here that you may find cool and interesting. So, trying to come up with some content to make, and maybe this is something that you may find interesting. So let me go grab it real quick. So right here, I have a picture of the Infinity Gauntlet. I love this thing. It is such a beautiful photo or whatever piece of work. It's taken from some movie site or something, and then I had a friend who has a business where he makes these audio panels. So this is not really quite like a canvas art that you would see from popular companies like Iconic, but this particular piece is actually a kind of foam board almost, made of fiberglass that absorbs sound. I wonder if you can tell. If I talk here, I can get rid of the echo, because what it does is it makes the echo go away. Whereas if I do this, there's more of an echo. So it absorbs the sound. And if I have enough of these in the room, they will absorb the sound. So there you go. Love this thing. This is great. So let me show you another piece that I really like. This is the Think Different poster by Apple. It's an Apple advertisement, or turned into an advertisement. It's a picture of Richard Feynman. And the question is, what does Richard Feynman and the Infinity Gauntlet back there have in common, right? Well, I'll tell you. Well, Richard Feynman is a very famous physicist. You may have heard of him, but if you don't know what he is famous for, one of the things he won the Nobel Prize for was for quantum electrodynamics, which I don't know anything about really, but he's super smart, obviously, right? Super smart scientist, very renowned scientist. But he was actually involved in one of the project of the creation of the atom bomb. So if you think about it, he was part of the project to build one of those powerful destructive devices on the planet. Maybe not something he's remembered for. He's Oppenheimer. You've probably heard of. Oppenheimer is actually the person that kind of headed the project of the atom bomb. I forgot what the name of the project was, but Richard Feynman, Infinity Gauntlet, atom bombs. What does this all have in common? Power. Has to do with power. And power has always been an incredible fascination. I watched the show Power. I've always loved the villains in the stories. I used to hate it when, used to get on my nerves when the villain lost. And I don't know what that says about me, but I never really liked the hero. I guess I did because everyone else did, like Superman, whatever, right? But then I was really more of a person that liked Wolverine, and I was a person that was more like Batman, sort of more of an anti-hero jerk, right? But even then, something about especially as I've gotten older and after I kind of had some traumatic experiences happen to me, I've found that the things, the people, the characters that I gravitate towards or kind of feel for or feel like I connect with is really the dark and nasty characters. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm filled with darkness. There's a lot of complexity to people, right? Or characters. And when you have complexity, it creates an interesting character. And I think that the truth is none of us are like just simple, right? We have, when we say something, when I'm talking to you and I'm trying to talk to you about these posters, for example, or talk to you about my life or talk to you about a particular topic, all you can really understand is through your own view and lens from how you experience the world based on what I say. Now, I know it sounds kind of a little weird and complex or just kind of confusing, but the truth is you really don't know me. And what I'm saying is I'm trying to get my insides out. That sounds gross, but I'm trying to get my insides out and express it to you. But the problem is like the way I look at things is that I have trouble simplifying stuff. And because I have trouble simplifying stuff, when I talk about complex emotion and issues, it just comes out jumbled and crappy. And that's kind of the stuff I like to talk about. There's another famous quote or quote that I heard from a businessman is the best things to talk about are the things that nobody wants to talk about, and that is power and darkness. But let me go grab another poster, and I can talk about that. So here I have Captain America, right? I'm not real big Captain America fan, though this is a beautiful piece of art that I really, really like. And again, it's an audio panel. It helps absorb sound, so it kind of helps reduce the echo if I have enough of them in the room. I like the art. It also reminds me a lot about my son, because he was really into this show called I forgot, some like little short Marvel characters, like kid Marvel characters. I forget the name of the show, but this one here, it's just a beautiful piece of work. I really like it. I think the other thing too that I like about it, or I like about the pieces that I pick, why I picked the Infinity Gauntlet and I picked the shield, Captain America's shield, is really more objects, right? They're trinkets, they're gadgets, they're tools, right? They're not a particular character. Like, there's very few characters and maybe famous people and heroes and villains that I sort of gravitates towards to. Very few, right? But then objects don't. This is obviously Captain America's shield, but it's also something that sort of, I guess, anybody can use. Obviously, Captain America is probably the best one to ever use it, but someone else can grab it. And it's also made of some special stuff. I think it's vibranium. I might be even using the wrong terminology. I'm not really up to snuff with my Marvel stuff, but this is my, again, I like this piece. I like specifically how it looks, and I don't know. I don't necessarily say what it represents in the sense that, like, okay, this is America and this is about being a superhero. That's not how I look at this. I look at this more like this is a very powerful object that Captain America used, and it's on my wall. It's not good or bad. All right, and here we go. We got Thor's Majorn, I think I just say it. This is Majorn, Thor's hammer, and it's just dope. I like it. Again, it's the same idea with Captain America's shield. It's an object. I think even more powerful about what this represents is that I forgot what the rules are for who can pick up the hammer, but one person that can also pick up the hammer, I believe, is Captain America. Can't remember, but again, kind of this is. It's funny how a lot of the old stories are connected to the new stories, right? Because I just thought of it just now. This is basically Sword in the Stone, right? The chosen one pulls the sword, Excalibur, and this is sort of the same idea, except that it's just with a different spin, right? And the more you look at things from that exist now that we like are just kind of re-extrapolations of things of the past that were already popular, right? They just kind of upgraded with a different storyline. So anyways, I love this. Again, not good or bad. I think it's probably good, of course. But I mean, again, I picked this object because I love the art. I like how it looks. But I also like the fact that, again, it's a tool. It can be used for good and bad. And it's really dependent upon who wields it. So in modern society, what is it that represents power? What is real power? Well, I think the most simplest form of power is money, right? Money is power. And that's not always the case, but it actually is most of the time, because when you have power, when you have enough money, you have freedom. And that's, again, sort of a theme for the things that I have on my wall. I mean, I think it's a lot of stuff that you probably relate to, but just maybe in a different way, where, power, freedom, kind of all about the same thing, wanting to be wealthy, wanting to be rich, again, related to freedom, related to power, right? We want to have power. We want to have power over our life, power over ourselves, and in some cases, power over other people. I know that sounds dark, might sound terrible, but that's what we want. Right? We want to influence other people. We want to affect people. We want people to care about what we say. And that's what those pictures represent. And I like to stew in the edge of what may seem appropriate or inappropriate. You can read into that however you want, but almost to a point where, like, what's that word? When I think about power and I think about money and I think about influence and status, what I do think about a lot is I think about protecting your family. I know that might sound kind of weird. And, I'm in a situation in my circumstance in life where I have 3 children and I'm married, and, they mean the world to me. And I kind of I'd do anything to protect them, right? So, like one of the other stories in our modern life is the story of Anakin Skywalker, who later becomes, Darth Vader. And one of the things that he does is he loses Padme, who dies in a vision, and he wanted to stop her from dying. And the thing was he wanted to stop her from dying, and he was told that if he went to the power of the dark side, he would be able to stop them or stop her from dying. Well, what ends up happening, of course, sorry if I spoil this for all of you, but what happens is he gets the power of the dark side, and he sort of kind of loses himself. He changes. The power sort of corrupts him. And I kind of use that as something that I can incredibly relate with, because, if given the choice, if someone told me that if I did this, that I would be able to save someone I love, and I think that's the whole point of what the story wants to sort of depict, is that you just do whatever it takes to protect and save your loved ones, the people that you love the most. And I look at that story as sort of a little bit of a warning sign of, like, that's my attitude towards a lot of things. It's like a whatever it takes kind of attitude. And I look at it as a warning, because things can be pushed too far. They can be pushed to a point of, like, here, let me give you an example, right? Like, I want to be successful. I want to make a lot of money. I want to be financially free. I want to be a good example to my family, a good example to my wife, and just the people around me, right? And then I want to show that I'm incredibly disciplined, that I exercise, that I stay fit, that I eat healthy, that I work hard, that I don't stop, and I just go. But, you can take that to an extreme where you work too much and you work too hard, and you kind of lose yourself, where, you're chasing success when you don't even have time, where the reason for success in the first place was so that you can spend time with your family, right? So where I'm going with that is I kind of go back and forth with that idea a lot, which is like, I'm doing this for my family, but the truth is I'm doing most of this stuff for myself, right? I think we all are. There's so many different ways to look at it. And this is kind of where God kind of comes in a lot of things, because I know this might sound kind of weird, but I think believing in God and having a higher power really helps provide a lot of clarity and I guess peace of mind. And I'm coming to terms with this a little bit, because I've always been challenged with believing in God. But, like, the reason why is because, I don't know if this is going to sound terrible, but it just feels like you're off the hook. That's why I don't like believing in God, because it's like you're off the hook. Of course, that's not necessarily true, because you can look at how you can interpret having a higher being in any way you want, right? God, religion is really up to you how you want to interpret it. But, like, I feel like it's being let off the hook, because when you believe in God, it makes you realize that there's someone more powerful than you, and that's someone that cares for you. And if you think about it, it's like the perfect story. There's someone that loves you, that's someone that's going to care for you, that's going to take care of you. And no matter what, everything's going to be just fine and dandy. And I think that's my biggest struggle, is I just don't believe in things being fine and dandy at all. I think it's like sometimes a crock of shit most of the time. But I mean, that's really more my internal skepticism that runs, because I do see value in religion. It's weird how this kind of went from superhero paintings to God, right? I'm going with this because I don't know. I'm just really just talking my head off. But I guess that's really what the thing is being able to sort of like, okay, this is what I was going to say. Sorry, losing my train of thought here. The thing is like, at some point, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you're going to ever have this realization, and maybe you've had, but at some point you just realize that you're just not going to make it out of life alive, right? No matter how much you try to protect everything, you're going to end up losing everything anyway, right? That's cynical. I mean, that's negative. Maybe it's not negative, right? Because then if you believe in God, you're going to go to a better place, right? You know, I mean, what's the point of saving money when you're just going to die and lose it all? So spend it all, right? So it's a really complex philosophical thing. This is like what churns through my head a lot of the time. This is kind of why competition and card games sort of keeps me focused, and it like doesn't let me wander into these weird existential sort of thinking. I can just focus on like make money, collect cards. You know, it's a game. It's simple. Whereas life is so complex. You could make it however you want. And in lots of ways, life is almost so much too free, right? And then you don't know what to do with it all. So I think that's the thing, right? What do you do with all this freedom, right? But then if you don't feel like you're free, well, that's a whole different situation. So in lots of ways, being less free is a little bit of a constraints, I should say, is a little bit of a blessing, because you have constraints that allow you to kind of work within your constraints, that work within your limited resources, that allow you to push yourself within those limited resources. So anyways, all over here, by the time of the end of this video, if you're even watching still, for those that are, you know, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts about what I said, or just say hi. So thanks for watching, and I'll make another video like this. Oh, before I go, I do have a little special video below. And what that special video is me opening up my mail. It's really just me going over collectibles and stuff, and maybe me talking about it. But I want to do that because I kind of want to talk about all the things that I find interesting. And that's really the reason why I want a YouTube channel in the first place. Whether this gets big, or I become famous, or grow a sizable audience. I mean, I do want to grow a sizable audience, but I think more than anything, it's really having this fun and creative outlet to talk and have fun. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.